much as we would like really to control, even going after itong mga soil, hindi natin kayang pantayan talaga. What I would propose to do is this. I think that the answer of the hotel is correct. They cannot be doing the police work for the government, itong mga hotels. They cannot really enforce itong quarantine. It will not be legally correct to go after the hotel owners or the managers there, or whoever is attending to the needs of the people that are inside the hotel. The hotel owners or whoever is working there cannot be tasked of or placing the burden of enforcing the rules about quarantine, because only government can enforce it. They have no authority nor the power. Ang makapahinto lang sa kanila, yung government personnel put in there in the hotel to work. Secretary Anyo, sir, kaya mo maglagay ng pulis sa mga hotels na ginagamit ng quarantine ng gobyerno? Dalawang pulis in two ships.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Nag-usap na po kami ni Chief Philippine National Police General Carlos tungkol po dito. At naghanda na po sila.
The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. A number of residents from a barangay in Caloocan started experiencing flu-like symptoms after the holidays, but they're refusing to seek medical help due to the high fees. Local authorities remind them that the LGU is offering free COVID-19 tests to prevent possible transmission. Jenny Dongan with the story.
Over the past 2 days, 14-year-old Alvin had coughs and cold. His own father, Alan, was not spared. He is now also experiencing the same symptoms and fears that he may in turn infect his younger child, who's only 4 years old. Coughs and colds are both symptoms of both flu and COVID-19, but the family says they're afraid to go to the hospital and get a checkup, which is why they resorted to medicines commonly available in sari-sari stores.
Pinainom lang namin ng gamot, paracetamol, saka Newsec niya.
Hindi po dinala sa ospital?
Hindi na.
Bakit, sir?
Nakakatakot pumunta ng ospital eh. Baka mahawa rin, baka may COVID din.
Alan believes that what they're experiencing is only caused by the cold weather.
Nag-aambon din eh. Baka dun sa niya rin, sa panahon din, mahamog. Tapos ako na lang yung sinipon din dahil katabi ko siya. Uminom ng maraming tubig, tapos uminom lang gamot. Yun lang.
Lola Lodi, 64 years old, also has coughs as well as sore throat. But rather than getting herself tested to see if she has COVID-19, she opted to self-medicate.
Naglaga ako ng luya, tapos nag-steam, tapos nagtimpla ako ng mga dalandan juice. Yung inakala ko na pwede kasi, kumbaga parang sa panahon lang to eh. Di ba masyado malamig sa ngayon?
Another neighbor of theirs, Rachel, also has cough. She expressed concern over the supposed shortage in medicine in some areas.
Wala na.
Kailan po naubos?
Kahapon wala na, simot na eh. Dahil maraming inuubo dito, naghanap ng Bioges, carbocisteine. Ayun, yung paracetamol. Kahit generic na yung paracetamol, yun na lang.
She also refuses to go for a checkup, saying it's expensive.
Pa-ospital ka, malaki gastos. Tsaka wala naman pang din. Madaling salita, walang pang hospital. Unti-unti kasi, dahil alam mo naman dito, squatter lang, hindi pwede yung bumili, hindi makabili ng maramihan.
These families all live in this one area in Caloocan. COVID transmission is imminent in this place as houses are tightly packed against one another. There are also children who are spotted not wearing face masks. This is why the barangay is now making rounds to remind people of the free testing offered by the Caloocan LGU. The barangay tells its residents do not hesitate to get tested in order to curb transmission. Barangay 170 has 3 new cases, all of which have cough and cold. The DOH says those who experience even the slightest symptoms must be tested.
Both are of viruses. One is the influenza virus and the other is the COVID coronavirus. But definitely for the symptoms, what is very definite about COVID-19 is that you have a loss of taste and smell, and you don't see this often in flu-like symptoms.
An expert says there also appears to be an underreporting of cases.
So I think it's important that we have to document also those antigen positive kasi ang nangyayari ngayon, ang na-record lang natin are the RT-PCR positive. So that means, I would say, that's an underreporting of the current scenario.
But the government is still pushing the public to get tested via RT-PCR to confirm their condition. PGH spokesperson Dr. Jonas De Rosario, meanwhile, encourages COVID positive who are asymptomatic and with mild infection to undergo home quarantine to prevent a surge in cases that can overwhelm hospitals.
Mga tumutulong pa, mga teleconsultation or telemedicine, pwede po sila makipag-connect sa mga doktor nila. Kasi po para ma-reserve naman yung mga kama talaga dun sa mga kailangang ma-hospital.
For News 5, Jenny Dongon, We Are One News.
A health expert warns rapid antigen tests may yield false negative results even if one is symptomatic. In an interview with 1PH sa Totoo Lang, infectious disease specialist Benjamin Go urged the public to get tested if one experiences COVID-19 symptoms. Ko said that it's okay to use antigen test kits at home, but he warned that these could still yield false negative results.
Problem with an antigen test is when you have symptoms and you turn out negative, may possibility, mataas ang posibilidad na false negative po siya, lalo na kung in the early stages of the illness siya. So mas maganda kung negative ka tapos may symptoms ka talaga, magpa-RT-PCR ka.
Meanwhile, during the latest Talk to the People address, Dr. Edsel Salvania also debunked rumors that having influenza will cause one to get a positive RT-PCR test result.
Our tests na RT-PCR po are very specific for COVID. There are tests that can test for both COVID and the flu, but a COVID will not make a positive flu test and the flu will not make a positive COVID test po. They are separate and they do what they are designed to do.
President Duterte is appealing to the Catholic Church to cancel all in-person gatherings, including the activities related to the Black Nazarenes Traslacion this Sunday. Duterte said he recognizes that the Traslacion, which attracts hundreds of thousands of devotees every year, is an important church tradition. Still, he appeals to the Roman Catholic Church to recognize the context of higher COVID-19 cases and the more transmissible COVID variant.
There are millions of devotees there. And you cannot just be complacent about the transmission of the disease. Sana maintindihan ako ng Roman Catholic that all gatherings are not allowed.
Meanwhile, the president tells unvaccinated people to expect no help from the government. Duterte also ordered barangay captains to bar unvaccinated residents from leaving their homes.
Yung hindi magpabakuna at nalaman ng mga barangay captain, sabihin na lang nila, huwag kang lumabas. At kung malabas ka, you'll be escorted. If you force the issue, I said, because the barangay captain is a person in authority, he can place you under arrest and dalhin ka sa istasyon. Doon ka sa mabaho na hindi ang istasyon, hindi masyado maganda ang hygiene ng
A group is once again pushing for the postponement of the 2022 national and local elections. This as COVID-19 cases in the country continue to rise. But COMELEC insists there's still no compelling reason to do this. Jen Kalimon reports.
Due to the ongoing surge of COVID-19 cases, the Coalition of Life and Democracy filed a petition to the Commission on Elections to act now for a no-L or no election scenario for the 2022 national elections. The coalition said they initially filed to postpone the elections last December, but the COMELEC has yet to set a date to tackle the issue.
A petition is filed, they must act on it. Okay? So, when the commission will have to act on it, and when it acts on it, they will tell us kung ano ang gagawin nila sa petition namin. So far, wala pa eh. Okay? Kanya, we ask for this early setting, urgent motion to set petition for hearing.
For its part, the COMELEC says they will tackle the matter in an unbanked session. But COMELEC spokesperson James Jimenez believes there is still no compelling ground to postpone the polls.
The COMELEC sees no reason to postpone the elections. I don't see how. The only way those things can have any effect is if the COMELEC lets them have some effect. They can file all of the petitions they want as long as the COMELEC doesn't grant the request to delay the elections, then tuloy ang halalan, hindi tayo madidelay.
Just last week, the PDP Laban Scusi faction filed a petition to reopen or to extend the filing of the certificates of candidacy that concluded last October 8. In a statement, PDP Laban says that the COMELEC must allow the reopening of COC filing for national and local candidates and for ballot printing to be put on hold until all pending issues concerning candidates and political parties are resolved. Matibag added that the poll body must review their deadline for the benefit of the electorate. According to PDP Laban's Vice Chairman and Senatorial Bet Lutgardo Barbo, CUSI's action is their winning strategy to postpone the elections. It's also an obvious indication of their greed for power. The COMELEC says CUSI's petition will also be discussed by the ANBank. But for Jimenez, the Constitution must be followed and respected.
But it's not going to happen. Because if you want to postpone the elections, then what you're really wanting to do is to ignore the Constitution. How can you ignore the Constitution? And if you're saying that the Constitution should be ignored simply because you want to stay in power, then you have a big, big problem. Right? So, yeah, it's not surprising, number one. But number two, it's not something that should even be considered.
As of now, the COMELEC has yet to issue the final list of candidates for the 2022 elections. But the poll body says guidelines for campaigning will not change amid the surge in COVID-19 cases. Reporting for News 5, Jen Kalimon, we are One News.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. The CIDG has filed charges against the infamous Poblacion girl and several others who violated quarantine protocols. Hospitals are again overwhelmed with COVID-19 cases as ICU admissions continue to increase. And Patafa drops Olympic pole vaulter EJ Obiena from the Philippine team. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 10:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.